James Thomas Morning Blend. We're doing a series here on Morning Blend on the economic impact of the African American community and inclusion in St. Louis. And today, my guest is Pamela Boyd. All this is being sponsored by Midwest Bank Center. We want to thank them for that. Good morning, Pam. How are you?
Good morning, James. How are you this bright morning?
I'm doing pretty good on a beautiful September morning, late in the summer. It is just amazing out there.
It is. It is.
The question is, how amazing is it in the African American community when we start talking about economic impact? Now, you're the Alderwoman for the 27th Ward, correct?
Right.
So in the 27th Ward, I want to make sure I've got this right. And I looked at it, and it looks like it includes Walnut Park.
Yes.
And it's the Vivian Astor Park is included in that. Unity Park, Dwight Davis Park. When we say Walnut Park, are we talking about Walnut Park area?
That's the neighborhood, Walnut Park.
That's the neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. So the 27 encompasses the Walnut Park community. It encompasses about a couple of blocks in the Baton community, and then it encompasses some blocks in Mark Twain.
In Mark Twain.
And North Point. So those are our areas that cover the 27th Ward.
Okay, so I know that you and I talked the last time, and you were working with someone on Goodfellow and West Florissant in that area as far as development. How is that going?
That's going fantastic, James, and I'm excited. I'm about to bust open because things are starting to move. We've been working on this since 2017, since I got elected. So when I got elected, the first conversation that I would have with anybody that would listen would be development. And I would keep telling them, you know, we need development in our community. We did have Louis McKinney did a project to extend his residential care, his assisted living. No, it's not. It's a senior citizen complex, and he extended it into the 27th Ward. So that was the phase 2. And so now we're looking to take the old Imperial building, which I don't think people understood the history and why I fought so hard for that building. George Edick was a promoter, and he had that building, and Ike and Tina Turner, Frankie Lyles, those people entertained, they got started in that building. And ironically, if people looked at the Tina Turner, what was it? The thing, her venue, it talked about her life and what she did and how they started. It showed the contract for the Imperial Center, Imperial building. So I was excited because now we have 2 developers that are looking at that corner, and they're going to make it a multi-purpose building. They're looking to we had several things that we had looked at. We looked at a grocery store and we couldn't come to an agreement. Then we looked at apartments upstairs, and then have like a cooking class that like Dearborg's has, but have a restaurant on that side. So we got several things that we're looking at to bring to that corner. So the vision is to build that whole corner up. And it's pretty much the mindset of Tower Grove, how they did it. They started a corner at a time to start building. So the Paradise Beauty Supply has put millions of dollars into his building to bring that up. And I don't think people knew there used to be a Hardee's there. So he transformed his corner. So now we're just looking at the building across the street and the Imperial building.
You've got about 11,000 residents in that area?
Yes, we do.
What would you say, and I'm not quite sure, and I don't know if you know the answer, what would you say is the average family income, median income for that particular area?
I say it's around 50,000 for the average. And that's because of the North Point and the gated areas. And so the 50,000, because we have 85% senior residents within our ward. And so that's why it's at that point, because a lot of them work the post office, work General Motors, and so they're on fixed incomes.
What do you see as the future for the 27th Ward as far as the economy? You've got a lot of retirees there, but there's also some high crime area in that area. Is there some high crime in that area?
It is, and that's been our number one priority with our business association. They are now coming together to look into hiring secondary to make sure that they start focusing on the hot spots in the ward. But I think it's not even hot spots, it's more of an education, empowering piece to the residents. And a lot of people don't understand, like with Northwest High School closing, we repurposed that building. So that building will be like a community center within the ward. So now that's going to give people opportunities. They won't have to go downtown. They can apply for jobs. They can have senior services in there. They can have social service things in that building that will help people in that community to empower themselves. And I think our challenge is, and my focus is, people 40 and under. That's the biggest challenge that we have. My seniors kind of know which way they want to go and how they want things to be. And they don't want to go in nursing homes. They want to stay in their homes. So we're looking at bringing senior programs in to help those seniors to stay in their homes and keep their homes up. But on the other side, we have to make sure that we educate the people 40 and under. And I just had a conversation with a young man the other day, and I said, people moving in, it used to be you would see a U-Haul truck when people have furniture. I said, they don't have that anymore. They have trash bags. He said, because they just go from one place to another. Yeah, they don't have, when we were coming up and your mom or daddy said, we're going to move, we would dread it because we have to pack up everything and wrap all the glasses and do all this. But when they move now, they just come in a car, have trash bags, and they go in the house.
Pam, with this new development company and coming in with the community center company coming, do you think there'll be job opportunities for those that are 40 and under?
Definitely. And that's a big issue. And the two things that I'm seeing as a challenge for me is to give those people 40 and under hope, because they felt like nobody was listening to them and wanted to help them in their situation. And so a lot of times, and I tell my seniors, you have to look at it from their perspective. In our generation, our parents raised us and it was a different mindset. This generation, these parents aren't raising these kids. A lot of them want to be their friends. They want to go out together. They want to, kick it, but they're not teaching them how to be parents. And so now I think it's the time even more. We had a clergy partnership meeting yesterday, and I told them, I said, now is the time, has ever been a time that the village has to come to raise the kids, that we have to come together. And I said, we have 202 churches in our ward. I said, just think if each church did one thing, the power we would show as a ward. We wouldn't have crime. We wouldn't have the drug problems. We wouldn't have homelessness, because each church would take a piece of that puzzle to start building the community. So James, I just think we can do it, because African Americans are survivors. We've always been survivors. Look, we came from slavery and we came into a place where I've been reading where African Americans have built farms and built countries because they were slaves and they knew how to manage. So we just have to teach our kids, our village, how to do that.
Pam, you were telling me the situation with the banks. Please tell me about your situation with the banks again.
See, we only have in the 27th ward, we only have one bank, that's Bank of America. they don't do anything in our community. They don't do the outreach. They don't do working on projects. They don't do that. So we need a bank in our community, like a Midwest or like a Regions or like a Simmons. So, you know, we need something like that in our community because, again, we have seniors. And so the whole West Florissant quarter, I want to make that walkable where people can walk to the clinic. They can walk and have a cup of coffee. They can walk to the bank. You know, we even looking at soliciting grocery stores to bring a grocery store in our community. But those are the things that's needed in the 27th ward because we need that stability for those residents.
Boom, I got it. Pam Boyd, thank you so much for joining us on Morning Blend and talking particularly about what's been happening in the 27th ward. I didn't know that Northwest High School was closed and becoming a community center, which I think is great in the development that's happening over there at West Florissant and Goodfellow. That sounds like there's some things happening. And hopefully there'll be some great job opportunities for, like you said, for those that are 40 and under.
Yes, it will.
All right.
Thank you so much, James.
Thanks again, Pam.
All right.
Now, you know, we ain't gone yet.
Oh,
let me stop the recording.
Okay, because I was